man, a number one song, like, do you call it a song, do you call it a record? Number one record, like they used to say in Canada right now. How does that feel?
Feels amazing, buddy.
After 13 years of busting your asses and writing and putting your passion into it and everything.
Amazing and still a little strange.
Sure.
You know, yeah, so cool. It's like, it's the thing you always want, and then when you get it, our producer, Gavin, said it the best way. He's like, I know what a number 5 feels like, I know what a number 3 feels like, and a number 2, they all feel shitty. And you're full of anxiety, and you're trying to push, and he's like, then when you get the number 1, it feels like nothing, because you're like, you didn't think you were going to get there, right? Almost like in the back of your mind, but then, yeah, we're just like so stoked about it.
So we're feeling nothing right now, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I will in a minute. I'll just crush this beer and we'll be...
Yeah. What's your process generally? I mean, how do you guys approach it? Songwriting.
It's very organic from the 3 of us now, kind of, but it could come anywhere. It can come from a beat, it can come from a lyrical idea, it can come from a guitar riff or whatever. And you know, it took being in it for 13 years. We're really good at getting over our ego. So like, I'm not worried it has to be a guitar riff. It doesn't matter if it comes from wherever. Like, put that aside, and it's just coming from One Bad Son. But I think to be fully creative as a band, we don't limit our writing process like that. Like we got a good grasp of how we like to do certain things or whatever. But if you're closed-minded in writing, then it's not very creative.
Yeah, and it has changed a lot. I mean, we like most bands. I don't know how you guys are or were back in the day, but we started very like, here's a riff. You know, I will write the lyrics and the melody, and like and then I think you get into a comfort zone because that worked. You
right.
know what I mean?
Right.
Like when Scarecrows came out, it was like you almost go into this sort of panic state in the studio where like this is what works, this is what I'm comfortable with, you know. And then and especially this time around, like sharing lyrics and just kind of everybody just kind of chilling out a little bit and just sort of like, you know, I mean, I had to get over a lot of shit, which most artists do. I mean, we all have like super strong personalities, and we all have an idea of like what you like. If I was writing every single song, it would sound this way. Like if Kurt was writing every single song, like we have that sort of, everyone sees it their way, and then to put all of that creativity together, I mean, sometimes it gets a little volatile, but that's where great music comes from.
Sure.
Right? You know, but we've kind of got to the point where it's like, maybe my idea isn't the best idea. Like, let's just, you know, we made this conscious decision to be like, whatever the best idea is, doesn't matter where it came from. Like, let's just make the song as great as humanly possible.
What serves the song best? Because ultimately that's what serves, you know, your audience best, and allows you to sort of really achieve that creativity you're looking for. Talking earlier about certain things, like when you're a road band, and you know, like most rock and roll bands really are. You do your best work on the road. That's where you make your career. And it's like, what creates that longevity? Like if you don't have the opportunity, first record, I don't know, our first record did some great things for us, but it didn't buy me a house, right? And you know, same obviously. How do you have enough longevity that you can finally crack that egg? How can you finally get past that sort of initial success that, yeah, we're a good enough band, people want us out on the road, and that's fine, but how do you elevate? How do you make it more sustainable?
It's really just, you really got to believe in your art, your creative art. And I've always said you got to surround yourself with good people, including your bros in your band, right? Like a rock and roll band, you're right, it's like a lot of rock and roll bands aren't breaking when they're 18 years old anymore. It's going to take years of touring and a few albums, and
one is the thing too, where you gotta like, you shelve your own ego when it comes to the band process, but as a band you have to shelve your ego as far as your success. Like you start to live in this little tiny world where only you're important, and other bands start doing really good, and you get all pissed off because like, well, why would you listen to them? Like you should be listening to us. It's like, and we've seen bands go down that kind of ugly path. I'm sure you guys have too.
100%. We're not immune to having those feelings ourselves. But
I mean,
like you said, you got to check that.
Yeah, I mean, right now you look at like the Canadian scene. There's so many bands doing amazing. Like
there was another good one. Is like, what's your favorite music right now aside from yourselves? Whether it's rock, hip hop, whatever. What's like? Let's start with put you on the spot, Adam. What's
I know
what are you listening
I know
to
what
right
you've
now?
been listening to, Hex.
Yeah. I tend to listen to maybe a bit heavier stuff.
Okay.
He's a heavy guy.
Right now, I like lots of the new stuff out. I've been on a Stone Sour kick lately.
Okay.
But anything, I just saw Metallica in Edmonton, so their new record was great. But
What do you think?
Yeah, I don't like. I'm kind of the opposite. Hicks. I don't listen to a lot of heavy stuff. It's like I play loud ass drums all the time. So when I'm on the road, it's like, you know, a lot of like more singer songwriter vibes, like John Prine or Dylan or Neil Young or Cohen. I've been listening to a ton of Tom Petty lately, and one song. It's like when these things happen, you kind of revisit the catalog and you find so many gems, and that you never listened to in that way before, you know, and they kind of take on a new meaning. Same with Soundgarden and obviously the hip, you know. But one Tom Petty song I just kind of fallen in love with all over again is a song called Down South,
Okay.
off of his Highway Companion album. And it's just like, it's my favorite song in the world right now. And it's just like, I listen to it like 5 times a day since he passed, you know. And it's funny, we were talking about earlier, like, it's always how it works. Like when someone's gone, you know, it's like you don't know what you got until it's gone, kind of thing, right? Like every Tom Petty song just hit me in the feels, you know.
Yeah.
And same with, of course, Mr. Downey, you know.
Yeah. Tough pill to swallow, even when you know it's coming, right?
Yeah.
Totally,
Yeah. Which I mean, what a special thing. Like the entire country is in the same headspace, I feel like, you know, just like tragically hit all day, every day, the last couple of days, right? I'm really all over the map. I mean, I'm a big, you know, once again, I don't want to shatter anybody's illusion about, you know, records and stuff, but I've been listening to a ton of just Spotify playlists, and which is like, I love it now, man. I mean, you know, I've got 2 things in my life as far as music, and that's like streaming and vinyl, you know. So I mean, I've been picking up vinyl, but also just streaming a bunch of new stuff, and I try to listen to what's the band of Thieves. I've been listening to a lot of that. Super good. I mean, and it's cool to discover a bunch of new stuff. I've been trying to I have a tendency, which I think a lot of guys do, is go back to my youth. You know, I mean, I grew up listening to like AIC and Soundgarden and stuff like that, Zeppelin, which I love and will always be my first loves. But I'm trying to discover as much modern stuff, and especially modern rock. I mean, I think sometimes you can get so deep into your own world as far as songwriting and stuff. It's kind of cool to see like other new things that are out there, and you know, so I'm trying to broaden my horizons.
How important is it to be that band? Like when you're in a pool of, there's a bunch of different rock bands and you want to have that opening slot, or you want to be on that bill or whatever. Like, it's not just about how great your songs are. And sometimes what you're talking about, like, well, why is this band getting ahead when this band isn't, or whatever? And like, how much of that has to do with the other stuff that the fans don't see? Like,
yeah, there's a lot of that. You get a lot more opportunities if you're easier to work with, and just, you know, if you're pro, like, be as pro as you can, you know. And also, it's a pretty easy formula. An amazing band will do more with one song than a shitty band will do with a 2-hour set, right? So just be great. Like, if you're great, just go out and sell it, and you don't have to, you know, piss off the headliner, which, you know, we did when we were younger too. Everybody learns the hard way.
Lisa asks, which audience was the loudest you've performed in front of?
Well, that's like that's a trick question. 'Cause we'll get in shit if we answer it, you know.
Oh, because you'll offend some other?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay, I'll say this: the Def Leppard tour was pretty amazing, man.
Yeah.
I bet.
Playing like a sold-out Saddle Dome, or playing, you know, is it Rogers Arena in Vancouver?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty surreal, man.
So how do you dig deep and deliver the same show that you play to a sold-out arena? Because if you're not doing that, you're not serving your fans.
We did. The good thing about OBS is for about, like, it's our 13th year. Well, 14th now. We've been together 13, and you know, it's like the first 7 years, no one really gave a shit about us. So that built a lot of character within us, right? So we learned how to just really play like it was a packed stadium to, you know, 10 people, half of which are your family, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, just
And
kind
half of them they still don't want to be there.
they're disinterested, yeah.
What do you think? What do you think when people are singing your lyrics right back at you and they're so bought in, they're so invested in what you do?
I like
this-
it because I usually forget them.
There you go.
So I just watch
Well,
them.
That's the
just
talent
put
project.
the mic up. Put the mic out to the crowd. You guys got this.
I think it's one of those things for me. I just like, it's so surreal. Like, you know, you grow up being that person, like,
Totally.
you know, and you never see yourself. I don't think any band will ever say, like, that they ever saw themselves as like the, you know, you're the person up there singing it or playing it. We played Scream for Me last night, and you know, people are singing it like they've been listening to it for 10 years, and you're like, holy shit, okay, like that's, it's kind of new, right? Like,
right.
And you're, you know, you're kind of, I don't think your mind is like really set up for moments like that to just be like, yeah, man, like, of course you should be singing our shit. Like, I'm the best. Like, we're just, you know, we're sass guys, we're humble, and you're just like,
Yeah.
you know, not to say that we're not rock stars, because we do what we do, and we love what we do. Yeah, but there are moments where you're like, you know, very really, you're just like, is this happening? Like, this is happening. Okay, like, it's cool, man. It's like kind of why we got into the whole thing, right?
Sure.
Just to have just larger than life experiences.
Gonna shake the walls till your pictures